Nico, welcome back to the podcast. Fresh off a 74 cents a kilometre trip to Lura to see the Blues. You're cashing in today. I know how excited you
I
would
need
have
the
been.
money too. I've just had my birthday.
Do I ask you for the happy birthday? When
Yes,
was
thank
that?
you. 47, even though I look 40. Some people
yeah.
even suggest 35.
No, I don't
When
think
you
there's many of those.
when you have a barbecue like me, the meat, the sausages, the salads, buy my own presents, I need every bit of that 78 cents, not 76
Oh,
cents.
78. It's gone up.
It all counts. It
How
all
many
counts.
kilometres to Lura?
Well, it depends if you go the M5.
I'm sure
which
you went the
sometimes
long way.
I take the wrong exit.
Yeah,
I can't know if it comes
yeah.
120 kilometres.
No,
Anyway, it
you're-
doesn't matter.
You'll shout after this,
I'm back
mate.
from Lura, baby.
How was it up there? The
Very
Blues up
fresh.
for media. Relaxed, I imagine,
Pretty
after
relaxed.
that winning game one.
Yes, they had the team photo outside today, but when that wind picks up, geez, it gets cold up there.
Mm.
Beautiful spot when the sun's out, but very frosty. But they're very relaxed, Michael, very
They getting
relaxed.
bored or what?
Oh, I
I'm
don't
hearing
know.
they're getting a bit bored up there.
It's going to be tough if they go in 2-0 up into that dead rubber. It's going to be interesting what they do in Lura, but I don't know. They look pretty content.
Well, let's go through the teams. Queensland, they finalised their team on Tuesday. Cameron Munster named captain. I know you're a big Cameron Munster
I
fan.
love Cameron Munster. What a throwback in
What do you
time.
think of this selection?
I'm still shocked by Daly Cherry-Evans. I know we spoke about him after game one, but to get rid of their skipper, where's the loyalty with Queensland? I know they said they've got to win. They've got to pick a team that's going to win right now, but Daly wasn't off the other night. I mean, he didn't have his best game, but like we spoke about it, he had so many partners in crime that just didn't completely aim up. My biggest concern is if you lost your skipper, but who's going to be that long kicker now? Cameron Munster, he's got that big wobbly boot, but Tom didn't. I don't know if he's got it in him to get that long kicking game where they're going to kick to corners. It's a big gamble by Billy.
Well, Queensland often, the whole loyalty notion that they wouldn't do what New South Welshmen do. They pick and stick. Seems to have gone out the window for this game.
Please.
Billy's
All bets
got
are
rid of a
off.
couple of players. The captain's gone. The halfback's gone. To be fair, it's a reflection of how bad they were in game one because they were awful. Like New South Wales should have won by 30 or 40. That's how bad
Yeah.
Queensland were. So
And
it may have flattened the scoreline, but they need changes because
Yeah.
they were so far off the pace.
And this narrative that Queensland are going to get better, New South Wales are going to get a whole heap better as well.
Yeah.
It's pretty frightening what this team can do if they put it all together on the night. And I think they truly will next Wednesday night in Perth. It's going to be hopefully a carve-up. I actually think we'll win by 14-16. Going back to the original issue, Cam Munster, I think he's a great captaincy appointment. I thought with Harry Grant there, he's the club captain at Melbourne, he would have been the logical choice, but Billy's obviously seen something in Cam Munster. Maybe the responsibility might bring the best out in him.
I guess in previous years, when you look at the two teams, there's always, they've got a better forward pack, or one team will have a better back line. But if you actually go through it, on paper, New South Wales have the better back line, the better halves, and the better forward pack, and the better bench.
And the better bench.
And
the better extended squad.
yes.
Lindsay Smith's an Australian player. Keon
Well, to be fair,
Kolomatangi,
that's
one of the form front rowers.
How
last
is
month.
Lindsay Smith in that squad?
He's a good player. I would happily have had
come
him
on, mate.
starting in that game next week.
Come on.
You're not a fan?
No, he hasn't been that good this year. To
You
be
live in
honest with you.
Penrith. You've got Penrith
I
friends.
don't think
Don't
he's
upset
been
them.
that good
Matty
this
Cameron
year.
will be straight on the phone to you, Michael.
Well, mate, he hasn't been that good.
I
He
think
hasn't
I
been
think
that
he's-
good.
I think he's been well. I think he's aiming up in a team that's struggling
Keon
without
deserves to
James
be there.
Fisher-Harris.
To be fair, Keon, I would have had him starting. I know that
Yeah.
Stefano, I would have had him in the team.
Yeah.
Stefano was part of the game one setup, but Keon's been the form prop of the game in the last
Yeah.
month. Since he's moved from the edge to the middle, he's been unbelievable for South
Yeah.
Sydney. So he'd be next in line. I think Stefano being in and around there, having Craig Bellamy as his coach now, Frank Panisi at Melbourne,
Yeah.
they're all involved. He was going to be the bloke to come in straight in for Mitch Barnett, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate, that ACL injury for Mitch Barnett. But to be fair, not much to talk
Yeah.
about New South Wales. It's all about
Yeah.
the Queensland side. And if you look, we spoke about Cameron Munster. He's got a new halves partner in Tom Dearden. Kurt Capewell called back into the team. I think there's talk that potentially Carrigan will come off the bench.
Do you seriously believe that? Is that just Billy Ducks and Drakes? I think
Well-
Jeremiah Nanai has been put to the bench too.
Yeah.
He was probably one of Queensland's best in game one.
Well, they need a bit of gamesmanship, to
Yeah.
be fair, because they're not
We
going to
need
beat
it.
New South Wales if they go
Yeah.
and try and be cute about things. So, look, what do you make of... I actually think the changes that they had to make,
Yep.
panic stations or justifiable?
Yeah, I think, well, like you said, Billy's had to make these changes. Whether or not they're going to work, time will tell next Wednesday. But I just don't think, on paper, Queensland have a team that's going to match it with New South Wales. We just got too many quality players, and there's no shame in that.
Orange
New
is
South
dead.
Wales, Queensland, It ebbs and flows. Queensland had such a great team for so long. You only have to ask Laurie Daly about that. It gave him nightmares for years.
Yeah.
Dreaming about trying to beat those Maroons teams that were so good. But New South Wales at the moment, Stephen Crichton, again, just watching him yesterday with that Parramatta game, such a good player. Latrell, circuit breaker. Nathan Cleary, top of the game. Mitchell Moses, his right boot. Payne Haas, arguably the best front rower we'll have in the next 10, 20, 30 years.
I was actually thinking about it the other day because there's a lot of talk around the Australian team with Freddie expected to take over. When Mal took over, it was a predominantly Queensland-based side.
Yeah.
And it reflected that for a while. And I'm going through the New South Wales team at the moment. And outside the guys who would play for Samoa at the end of the year, it'd be hard to find many of the New South Wales team that miss out. Like Dylan Edwards will be the fullback.
Harry Grant will be a hooker.
Harry Grant comes in, but Reece Robson will be potentially in the squad.
Mm-hmm.
Latrell, if he wants to play, will be there.
Yep.
Zach Lomax will be there. Moses and Cleary should be the 6 and 7. You probably could argue that Munster will win that spot. Loyalty, but to be honest, on form, it'd be hard to go past Moses and Cleary. Payne Haas, depends if he plays for Samoa. Liam Martin, Angus Crichton, you'd expect to be the back rowers. So I think Carrigan, I think Harry Grant, and really, who else? Munster. They're the three guys who you would think would be in the squad. Tabuai Fado and Val Holmes because of the guys that we said, To'o and Crichton playing for Samoa.
I'm pretty sure, the Hammers Samoan.
He played for Samoa as well.
You wrote the story earlier this year, I think. Payne Haas to Samoa.
Yep.
Spencer Leniu to Samoa.
Tino potentially. They're in conversations.
Yeah. And I spoke with Stefano today, who I didn't realise is such a big dude. He's also played with Samoa, but come the end of the year, his father, I think he was telling me, is Tongan. He'd love to tick that box.
And play for Tonga over Samoa?
And of course,
over
Australia. These Tier 1 and Tier 2 rules that are in place, there's nothing stopping players from jumping between the Pacific
you'd think
nations.
Stefano would come. Like, if we'd Payne Haas potentially out, Tino potentially out, you'd think Stefano would get a spot in the Australian squad. So if he's going to pick Tonga over to Australia, that's another blow.
The man you don't rate.
I just don't think he's ready for that level. Anyway.
There you go. He's a two-time premiership winner and an international.
Yeah, but he got picked because... Anyway. You're going to start me, mate. I don't
Stop
think
being a troublemaker.
He shouldn't have been in the Australian
right.
squad.
Can we just deviate for 2 seconds?
What?
Isaac Moses 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Phil Gould last week. Now you're upsetting the great Roy and HG.
They love me.
Two legends of Australian media.
Troublemaker. That's a badge of honour.
Why do they call you troublemaker?
Well, journos, we should be troublemakers, except blokes like you just want to claim the mileage to Lura and be friends with everyone. Oh, hi, Steph. How are you? Congratulations.
Do you remember watching Roy and HG in 2000 at the Olympics? Were you even born then?
I was 11 years old.
Were you?
Yeah. I went to the Kathy Freeman final.
You're a bit older than... You look a lot older than
what
you are in
What
your
do you think
age.
I am?
I don't know. I'm just looking at your hair.
Maybe 12.
Your hair's looking
I was
very
actually
good.
12. I was 12.
Your hair's looking very good
I was
today.
the Nicky Webster of the Paralympics.
How's the hair today?
It looks good.
It looks good. I like
tried a different style.
You've
go
had a cut.
Down.
I wasn't sure if you're allowed to cut it. I thought I had to sort of set up
anyway,
like a good lawn.
We're talking about players being cut and not my hair. So we're talking Queensland.
Yes.
Reece Walsh not there. Not surprising. He came back for the Broncos during the week. Did you expect him to be picked or
not really? The one game. I mean, he did get up clutching that left knee, but I don't know if you saw his try the other night. I'm still trying to work out what he did in the air to step off the left or the right foot. I was getting confused. Even my TV remote was getting the jitters trying to keep up with what Reece Walsh was doing. Did I expect him to be there in Perth? No. I know we're going to talk about Ezra Mam. Ezra Mam, I can live with. He's had 3 good games for Brisbane since he's been back. He's not going to play, but he's going to be in and around the squad. And purely on form, he deserves to be there.
Ezra Mam.
You're not a fan. I know you're not liking this.
No.
You're not liking his selection. I can't understand, Michael, all the brouhaha about Ezra Mam.
First, stop calling me Michael. I feel like I'm in trouble.
Sorry. Chammy.
You never call me Michael.
Chammy.
It's weird.
What would you like?
Whatever
Troublemaker.
You like, whatever you like, but don't call me Michael. You never
I can't understand all this drama about Ezra Mam.
Because
at the end of the day, he served 9 games.
Reopen the wounds,
yes,
Nico.
but the NRL, he served his time with the NRL.
Yeah.
We all know we got into trouble late last year with drug driving.
They dropped that announcement on, Christmas Eve, was it?
Yep.
So no one really blew up at the time. There was a little bit of outrage about it. And now they've reopened old wounds by allowing, the fact that he's been picked in the squad.
Why?
So everyone who was outraged at the time...
He's allowed to play in the NRL?
Yeah, I'm saying. Everyone who was outraged on Christmas Eve who was too busy downing schooners and now coming back and thinking, you know what, he shouldn't have been in this position in the first place.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people. He should have been banned for the year and had to prove that he was fit and ready to return to the NRL a year later.
I can live with that, but the facts are the facts. He's back.
Yes.
He's done his time. He served his time in the NRL. The
Yep.
courts hit him with a lettuce leaf. I mean,
Yep.
whoop-de-doo. It was hardly a punishment. You and me, we can agree that the punishment wasn't severe enough. But the
Yep.
fact is, he's back. He's been allowed to come back to the NRL. He's playing well with Brisbane, and he's now been rewarded. Not with a jersey, but he's in and around that squad.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'm not bagging Billy here or Queensland. They are within their rights to pick him.
I did hear today, Michael,
It just makes the NRL look weak.
the Queenslanders, I know Ben Eichen, the Queenslanders went to Gympie today in country Queensland. I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
If you held a gun to my head and I had
Is that
to
where
point
Reed
to
is
Gympie
from?
on the map,
Brent Reed?
I don't know.
I don't know. He looks like a
They're all
Gympie.
backwaters up there. It doesn't matter. Anyway, Ben Eichen, the QRL boss, was asked about Ezra Mam and his inclusion. I think he just flat battered all the questions. I did hear a TV crew up there was actually fishing around trying to get the Uber driver that was injured in Ezra Mam's
Oh, yeah.
car incident,
Yeah.
just trying to get his side of the story and how he feels about Ezra being picked in Queensland. So it's obviously massive news north of the border, and it's still stirring up a lot of emotion. But he's been given the green light to play in the NRL, so they're not breaking the rules by picking him for Queensland.
Yeah, well, I don't like it. Anyway, I'm moving on. Kurt Mann.
Yes.
I love this selection. He's...
Old man.
I think
old man. What a headline. Old man.
I like that. I think that 1 year deal at $350 was what they wanted at Newcastle for him to play on, but the Knights
Yes.
didn't keep him.
Yep.
And what a buy he's been for the Bulldogs. And
Yeah.
now he's in the Origin arena. I
all
like
hard,
his
isn't he?
inclusion. He's a tough nut.
Yep. I remember speaking to him earlier this year from a tiny town called Winton in the middle of absolute
You love your
nowhere.
tiny towns. Wait.
I know, but every town
Bagged
in
out
Queensland,
Gympie, bagged out
they're all
Winton.
towns. They've only got one city.
Yeah.
They can claim it. Brisbane, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Look, what's the Gold Coast? Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're getting off track. He's from Winton, and his father's name's Tyke, as Queensland as they can come. And he loved his football. I remember Kurt telling me that his mum stopped going to the football because she got sick of her husband getting sent off, and they'd abuse her husband for getting sent off, and then they'd abuse her for bringing him to the game. But classic story. I think he's 32. I think he becomes the third oldest player to debut in Origin, and it's just reward for him. His form for Canterbury's been brilliant. He's all heart, and he won't disappoint Queensland.
Yeah, well, he's been great for the Dogs, and hopefully he has a good game for the Maroons, just not too good. And New South Wales wrap up the series. Hey, we touched on DCE before.
Yes.
I think, barring injury, that's career over, right? But what
Yeah.
a great career it's been for him
Yeah.
in that Origin arena. It was a bit of a tumultuous start. There was so much talk that the Queenslanders, the senior guys, didn't like him or
Yeah.
didn't want him around. Then he ends up captaining the state.
Yeah.
A fantastic career if it is the end for
Yeah.
DCE.
I think it is the end. It's a shame you don't get to go out on your own terms. And who's to say that there's not an injury? Hopefully there isn't any injuries come next Wednesday night. But
But the fact Ezra's
would you
in the
even go
squad,
back? Would you even go back to DCE if they lose and there is an injury to Tom Dearden or Cam
Well, that's
Munster?
right.
You're probably right. You do bring
the
in
only
Ezra.
way you go back to DCE is if you win and there's an
Yep.
injury.
Yes.
And you think game 3, you need the experience.
Yep.
Maybe you pick him. But the fact that Ezra Mam's in the squad suggests to me that that's their future
Like
now.
I said, it's a bugger that DC doesn't go out on his,
Yeah.
like I said, on his terms. It would have been nice. He still wanted to play, which is a shame because if he felt he could get the job done, and I'm Billy, I'm saying, Ches, I'm all with you, mate. Go do your best.
Let's move to New South Wales, Nico. As we said, they weren't very good. They were
Yeah.
okay. They got the job done. I said it was the worst, most boring Origin game I've seen in a long time.
Jeez, you're harsh.
It wasn't very good.
Troublemaker.
It was
It
a
doesn't
boring
matter.
game.
Go
We
on.
just say how it is here. You know,
Yes,
people don't
okay.
like us, we live with it. You just
Okay.
want to be everyone's friend.
No, here we go again. Boring. Keep going.
No, you just want to be everyone's friend. Don't worry about being friends with everyone.
You've been to Perth, haven't you? That's right. We went to Perth in 2019 and you were sick for the
I was
week.
sick. Yeah, I was. Yeah.
What happened
I'm a
over
bad
there?
traveller.
Did you actually...
I think they had some Mad Mix or something. I hope they're not a sponsor of this program. We've got lots of sponsors.
I remember you were in the Asahi bowls. You're going through an Asahi phase.
No, that's not true.
I think you should...
Asahi is a beer. You're talking about
No.
Asahi.
Asahi.
You have Asahi.
You love
You
I
have
think you love
Asahi
Asahi
bowls.
bowls because you mastered how to say it.
No, I
So
don't.
you
I don't like acai bowls. I'm
Okay.
actually one of those guys who don't believe. In
I don't
that
think it's
stuff.
Asahi. I think it's Asahi.
No, Asahi is the beer that you down regularly.
Okay, yeah, righto.
Okay, you
Very
get
good.
mixed up.
Very good.
Hopefully, I'm not wrong. So we've just defended Asahi and we've just defended Mad Max. But we, I think in Perth they have a good record there in New South
Yes.
Wales.
They have an excellent record. I think it's 82 to 18 if you can combine margin.
Is it 2 games they
From
played there?
2019
Yeah.
and 2022.
Yeah.
2019, I think you'll find Nathan Cleary is the sole surviving member
Is he?
of that New South Wales team in Game 2, 2019.
Because that was
Went
the
down
game
with
they
his
dropped
ankle.
Latrell.
Dropped Latrell, dropped Gussie. Poor old Gussie.
Did
Angus
they?
Crichton found out in the middle of, might have been the SCG after a game.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. When Brent
Before
Reid
news
upset
got
him.
to him. Brent
Yeah.
Reid, yes. Big fan of the show, Brent Reid.
He is. He is a regular listener.
But Nathan was the only one. He went over there with James Maloney. Of course, James Maloney rejoined Nathan in the halves, and they got the job, won convincingly. And then, of course, in 2022, that was when I'm pretty sure Tommy went to town. Tommy and maybe even Joe. I can't remember.
Tommy and Teddy.
Yeah. But we've got a good record over there.
So, yeah, well, hopefully that continues.
Sorry, I cut you off. We
Yeah.
got sidetracked there. You wanted to talk about New South Wales.
No,
We
that's
started
all right,
talking
mate.
about
You do you, as I said.
AK bowls, whatever they call it.
Acai bowls. Okay, get with it. I want you some predictions for this
Yes.
big game.
Yep.
Wednesday week. What's your score line? Who are you
Yep.
expecting to light it up?
I think there'll be points scored. I did have a quick little look at the forecast. I think they are tipping rain. God bless Perth. But I think New South Wales win comfortably. I think they win 32-8, maybe 32-10. I think Nathan and Mitch, with the one game under their belt, they're just going to hit it off again. I think Zach Lomax, Brian To'o, they might be good for a couple of tries each. They did come into that Brisbane game on the back of one game. Their form's actually gone on with a bit more match fitness since. I just think we're going to dominate right across the board. Queensland, they can keep sitting there talking about, yes, we've made changes. Who cares? You're going to get flogged.
This isn't on the run sheet, but I'm going to move
Ooh,
away. Yeah, I'm going to go
curveball.
a bit rogue here. I'm going to
Okay.
do my own thing.
Yeah.
This is an Origin-focused podcast, but news today, confirmation of our story yesterday, that Taylan May
Yes. Yep.
has signed a train and trial deal with the Tigers.
Yep.
Your thoughts on that? Because a couple of months ago, they'd put the red pen through him. They
Yep.
didn't think that he would fit in.
Yes. I just hope
What's
they've done
changed?
their due diligence. What I do like is it is a train and trial. So it's all on Taylan's to lose. He's done his time out of the game. I think he's been fairly open about his mental health. He spent some time in a psychiatric ward. It is a gamble. We all know, but he's got his brother there with Terrell. My main concern would be as long as he doesn't upset the team harmony or the team environment. I mean, the last thing you want is a distraction. Shane Richardson's been around a long time, the CEO. Benji's been there, his second year now as a head coach. Richo wouldn't have signed him if he thought it was going to be upset the apple cart.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
he's a great player. I mean,
tremendous.
He's he's got an Origin standard player. I still remember him
course.
scoring a try, picking the ball up off his bootlaces when Nathan Cleary kicked over to the left corner one night at Penrith. Outstanding talent. I just hope it works out for everyone.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm going to reserve my judgment.
Yeah,
I
of course.
am worried.
Of course. He tremendous player. Footballing ability is unquestioned. They've had distraction after distraction. I think it's a little bit of a sign of where they're at. I think they looked around and thought maybe 2 months ago we were flying. The form was good. We probably didn't need to take the risk.
Yep.
Maybe they're now back in a situation where they said this is a risk worth taking,
Yep.
and if it pays off, then it's well and good. But if
And
not,
they need a centre. I mean, that's the one
who
spot
drops out? Stafford Tower or Adam?
Adam
Dewey?
Dewey's off contract next year. Off contract.
And end
Off
of this
contract
year.
this year.
I think they want to keep him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Time will tell. But
Yeah.
it's a pretty big story. Taylan May, he probably potentially play when they return from the bye after this week. And Nico,
Yep.
thanks again for joining us on 4020. We'll be back for another edition of 4020 next week, breaking down all the action and fallout from State of Origin 2 in Perth. It's do or die for the Maroons as the Blues, they go for the knockout. We'll see you then.